Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crypto News Podcast. It's your host, Matt Zahab. We are buzzing as always. And today we have one of the GOATs coming on the show today, an official GOAT man. Today we have Lark Davis, the founder of Wealth Mastery, one of the most famous newsletters in crypto. You may or may not know him from his newsletter, but you definitely know him from being an entrepreneur, investor, and prominent figure in the cryptocurrency community, where he is widely recognized for his expertise and contributions as an analyst, educator, and influencer. You can find him online at the Crypto Lark. Most of you are probably already following him, and he has gathered a significant following. 1 million followers is that good on all social media platforms, including Twitter and YouTube, where he shares comprehensive market analysis, educational content, and insights into the latest trends and developments in the blockchain and cryptocurrency space. Lark Davis, pumped to have you on, my man. How you doing today?
Doing great. Excited to be here to chat with you.
Pumped to have you on. Folks, we are recording at the end of Feb. By the time this episode goes live, it's going to be give or take 10 days after Lark and I record. So please take that into note when you are listening to this. But we woke up this morning. Well, I woke up a hell of a lot earlier than Lark, not because he doesn't get up early, because he is, 14 hours, 15 hours ahead of me? You are way ahead of me yet.
It's technically 18, but basically a day in 6 hours. It's pretty crazy.
So Lark woke up, check the charts. We are absolutely ripping today, folks. We have 53K Bitcoin. We have 2,300 ETH. Everything is pumping right now. We love to see that. The time has finally come, and we have so much to talk about today. I'd love to start about Bitcoin and ETH. Let's talk about the big boys. Let's talk about the big gals. What does this price action mean? How far do you think this can go? Do we have legs on it? And if you could tie this into the Bitcoin ETF and the potential ETH ETF, because I know you got a lot to say on these two, I think that's a great place to start.
Let's start with the Bitcoin ETF, then we'll dive into the ETH ETF. So today's price action, it's exciting, it's fun. I always love seeing it. You love seeing it. But I'm not too worried about what happens today, tomorrow, next week. That's a lot less interesting compared to where we are in the cycle and what the implications of the Bitcoin ETF actually mean for the market. Now, we've had some incredible weeks for the Bitcoin ETF. We had a week where we had 2.5 billion come in. That was 2 weeks ago. Last week, we had 600 million come in. Now you say, oh my gosh, went down from 2.5 billion to 600 million. Things must be going bad. No. $600 million a week net inflows. That's accounting all outflows. Inflows, $600 million a week. Let's extrapolate that out. We have 44 weeks left in the year. Let's just say it's $500 million. Round it up. Keep it simple numbers here. We're looking at $22 billion more, assuming this sort of lower average number where it's only $100 million a day, Monday to Friday, because it's boomer markets, right? We're talking about Bitcoin ETFs. They only trade 9 to 5, take public holidays off, all that kind of stuff. But we're seeing incredible numbers already. Even half of that, this is the wild thing I try to get across to people. Even half of those numbers, it go way down, way more than we thought it was going to go down. And we only do 50 million a day. That's still insane. That's still $11 billion of fresh inflows this year. This is a dramatic amount of money entering Bitcoin. It's cash money entering money, right? And this has a huge impact. So what's happening with BlackRock, Fidelity, all these guys, it's huge. And that's just the start of the story because Hong Kong Bitcoin ETFs are coming next. Then we have Korea Bitcoin ETFs likely coming sometime in the near future. They've already been meeting with the US SEC. And the wild thing about Bitcoin ETFs, they're only a tiny part of the picture. Because look at all the other fiat on-ramps that have been opened up beyond Bitcoin ETFs. We have all these little stories that if we'd been back in 2017 would have been so impactful. For example, Swiss Post, the 5th biggest bank in Switzerland, by the way, 2.5 million customers. Well, they can now sell Bitcoin to their customers. May not sound like a lot. Just 2.5 million people. That's not a big deal. How many of those people are really going to buy Bitcoin? Yeah, but that's like one of 100 stories that are just like that have happened in the last year. You have to understand how big the on-ramp gateway has been opened up for crypto in this cycle. It's insane. And a lot of that's focused on Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is where the money starts entering the market. People buy Bitcoin, then they go, well, what next? And that's where things start getting crazy. Now, let's shift gears. Ethereum ETF. Very interesting as well. So we got the Bitcoin ETF and the legal standings on which the Bitcoin ETF was basically forced to be approved by the courts. So the SECs had their hand forced here. They either had to approve the Bitcoin ETF or admit that they were wrong on all the other ETF products that they had approved, all the futures ETFs and stuff that they had screwed up on that. And they didn't want to say that we screwed up. Better to save face and just approve the Bitcoin spot ETF. Besides, BlackRock was calling, Gary from Goldman over at the SEC wants to have a job after the SEC. And if he spits in BlackRock's face, he's not going to have a job anywhere after that. So he played ball. We got the Bitcoin ETF. It's true. It's true, man. This is how it works. And now the exact same legal precedence that worked for the Bitcoin ETF exactly applies to the Ethereum ETF. So that means likely May 23rd will be the day that we get an Ethereum ETF. Why do I say May 23rd? Because that's the first final deadline. You see, all these different SEC applications have a final deadline. The first final deadline, I can't remember which company it was from off the top of my head, but the first final deadline happens on May 23rd. That means on May 23rd of this year, the SEC either has to say we are going to approve or deny an Ethereum ETF, and they don't have any good grounds to deny an Ethereum ETF. Now, with the Bitcoin ETF, they'll probably drag it out to the last second because they're, children, but it's going to come. When the Ethereum ETF comes, it'll be a big moment for the markets because now we have the two top cryptocurrencies, which together on any given day account for between 60 to 70% of the total market cap of all cryptocurrencies. And if you extrapolate out everything that ETH represents, all the applications, the stablecoins, everything built on top, it's more like 80% of the total crypto market space will be available for people to buy, for TradFi money to buy in a very, very easy way. And that's wildly exciting because it means that a lot of money is going to be able to very easily enter this market. And of course, Ethereum is a great product for Wall Street. Why aren't they going to love ETH? If you're bullish on stablecoins and gaming, NFTs, DeFi applications, all that stuff, guess what? Just go buy Ethereum. And here's the kicker bonus. You're going to get a dividend payout, unlike from holding Bitcoin. It's going to be popular.
Yeah, you're bang on about the points about TradFi. I still feel like crypto as a whole hasn't really hammered down on the importance and the power of TradFi dollars. Like we're peasants compared to the TradFi kings, like the Larry Finks of the BlackRocks. Like these guys are needle movers to an extent where they can move governments, move countries. Like these guys literally snap fingers and make shit happen. And I still think we haven't really priced all of that in. I mean, on days like today, we're finally seeing it, but I'm excited to see what comes over the next couple months and years to come.
Yeah, the implications are absolutely wild. BlackRock, it's a hard company to understand. They're wildly powerful and wildly influential. And by the way, I would like to mention, BlackRock getting into Bitcoin, it is a deal with the devil. Make no mistake, because BlackRock is not our friends. BlackRock's not here for the Satoshi revolution. They're not here to fix the financial system. None of that stuff. They're here for a buck. They're here for power. They're here for control. They're here to help corner supply. And I remember a few years ago, it's one of the Wall Street guys, I think it was at the CME or something like that. He was actually saying, we want our organization to be the price metric by which price discovery happens for Bitcoin. We want to be in control of that market. And slowly but surely, what's happening on Wall Street? It is slowly moving over. And hey, here's a fun little fact. A lot of people don't know this. BlackRock last year, well, actually, 2024 now, 2022, BlackRock did a little something that not a lot of people talked about, not a lot of people were paying attention to because so much crazy was happening in the market, so much pain was happening in the market. Most people dialed out of the market by that point. BlackRock launched a private Bitcoin fund for their high net worth individual investors to start getting into Bitcoin a full year before they launched their public Bitcoin ETF. They've been bullish on Bitcoin for a long time.
Larry.
Larry.
Larry's gonna Larry. Let's keep buzzing on big topics here. Again, March 2024, folks. We have a lot of topics that are not even about to pop off that have sort of already popped off. We have AI coins, and AI coins almost follow NVIDIA. Whenever NVIDIA pumps, sort of like the AI coins and crypto pump. Last week, we had NVIDIA Q4 results come in, and it was absolutely absurd. I think it was 12 billion in profit. Literally, they gained, I think it was 650 billion in market cap in one day. Largest one-day jump in market cap in history of stocks. Absolutely
That's
bananas.
the whole market cap of Bitcoin, by the way. Or, almost, right? It's wild.
Crazy. That's a company who's making the infrastructure for AI. We have Bitcoin 20 tokens, which have sort of seen a little resurgence. We have gaming, we have DePIN, which has been taking off. And of course, we have RWA, real world assets. I know you can speak on all of these, but let's start with the AI tokens, Lark. what's your 2 cents on these? Do you have any that in particular that you like? And why are these so important to crypto?
First off, I'd like to say it's very interesting with trends and narratives because a lot of people are getting really excited about whatever narrative right now. And the fascinating thing to realize, having been around in the space for a while, basically a piece of furniture at this point, None of what you're seeing is new. I've been covering all these narratives since I started making content back in 2017. Real world assets, AI coins, all this stuff, nothing new under the sun, as they say. What's interesting, though, is that now, finally, we might be reaching an inflection point with the cryptocurrency markets where we actually see some of this stuff taking off and getting real world adoption. That's what was missing pre and previous years. People had the right ideas, but at the wrong time. Now we might finally see with our 400 million or so global crypto owners and users and everything else that's going on in the space with the just general buzz up of technological adoption that we're seeing globally, some of this stuff could really start taking off. Now, in AI coins in particular, one thing I always like to say about AI coins is be careful of the buzz, because there's a lot of different companies in crypto that whenever the hot new thing comes out, that's what they're doing. Oh, hey, we've always actually been an NFT project. Oh, hey, we've actually always been doing gaming. Oh, hey, actually, we're an AI coin now. So you have to watch out for this. You also have to watch out for a lot of buzzwords, a lot of bullshit, and a lot of hopes and dreams and promises that are never going to come true with these new startups working in the AI space in crypto. But that's always been crypto. But I just want to put that reminder out there for everybody that a lot of these altcoins are going to overpromise, underdeliver. They're out here for a quick cash grab, whether it be through their token sale or dumping tokens later on the market, whatever it's going to be. So you have to be careful. You have to actually really dig in. What are the track records of these teams? What kind of partnerships do they have, et cetera, and really ask yourself, is what they're proposing realistic? Is it going to make sense in a crypto sense? Think about this. If you put ChatGPT on the blockchain, great idea, right? Well, it's not a great idea because unless it works. Because if you have to go and spend $50 to do an Ethereum transaction to access that and get your transaction, you're just going to use ChatGPT for free, aren't you? Right? So keep these things in mind when you're looking at AI stuff. Now, that being said, lots of great AI projects out there. I'm quite interested in like the infrastructure side of it. So things like Render, for example, which is a very big market cap, famous coin, GPU or Uber of GPU, right? Interesting idea. There's other lower market cap competitors coming up in that space too. I think there's space for definitely a few of them to thrive. So that kind of stuff, the more infrastructure plays are very interesting. And there's some very innovative ideas around how to use AI technology that we're seeing playing out right now. And I don't know what are going to be the winners from that space, but definitely it's a very exciting area. And it's actually a very democratized way to get into new AI startups compared to the stock market. Failure rates were just as high, but you can get in a lot earlier if you get on Uniswap or PancakeSwap or whatever and get those tokens when things are still trading at 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 million market caps.
And just for the listeners at home, if you guys want to jump into some of these coins, and again, this is not a financial advice pod, Lark and myself, we're not telling you to get into anything. This is simply we're sort of giving you the secret sauce. We're giving you the how-to. You can go on CoinGecko, you can go on CoinMarketCap, a lot of the deck screener websites, and you can literally just search up the AI sort of folder, the AI basket of coins. Do your research and don't just ape into them. Don't just throw a couple $100 into all of them. Actually spend a couple hours into each coin. Check out why you like it, see what's good on Twitter, follow important people, read their opinions, and go from there. So again, just want to let everyone know this is not an investment pod. We are not telling you to invest in anything. We are simply trying to throw a little alpha your way. Let's go on to DePIN. DePIN's popping off. I've been fortunate to have a couple really good DeFi founders, C-suite execs on the pod, and we have many more coming. This really interests me. You have really cool companies, no free ads, so we're not going to name any, but you have companies that are creating decentralized Wi-Fi networks where you can literally set up a node straight from your phone, straight from your computer. And when you go to a coffee shop, people can take advantage of your Wi-Fi and you can get paid in that coin. It's a really cool concept. I would love your 2 cents on DePIN as a whole and why you think it's so important to crypto.
I think DePIN's a really big and interesting idea. Basically, you're getting rewarded for doing a lot of the things you might be doing anyway already in life. There's one that rewards you for driving around and helping them map out streets and stuff like that. They want to be a competitor to all the big map applications. So they're going to pay you for keeping the maps up to date. So all you have to do is you have to buy a webcam, but put your webcam in the car and drive around, which you're probably doing anyway, especially if you're already driving around for work. Imagine you're a taxi driver, an Uber Eats delivery guy, whatever. Like you can get extra money on top, and people are making decent money. It's not going to retire you early or anything like that. But hey, if you can add an extra $20, $50 a day to your income, you're probably going to like that, aren't you? So stuff like that's pretty cool. Renting out your computer space, your rendering power on your computers. Again, great ideas. Very cool stuff. And I think this democratization of earning has huge implications, especially beyond like the Western world. It might be a fun bauble toy for somebody in the UK or the US where it's like, I'm going to make $20 a day renting out space in my computer. Okay. But for somebody not in those countries, $20 a day is game-changing money, and they have a computer and they have exactly. And so it has huge implications. I love the democratization of everything and the decentralization of everything. And the more we can decentralize, it's very important. And we already see how wildly critical it is to have decentralization. Now, this is actually interesting because one of the big intersections we're seeing right now, one of the most exciting intersections for me, DePIN and AI. That's where we're seeing these really come together in a very fruitful and interesting way. Because what have we seen over the last few weeks? We saw that absolutely ridiculous situation with, I think it was Gemini. Is that Google's Gemini?
Yes.
The AI program?
They got shat on for
and
2 weeks straight.
If you guys haven't kept up with that, maybe you missed out on it. Basically, it was just so woke, it could barely even function. If you put in very simplistic stuff like, hey, make images of the founding fathers, you'd have like, I don't know, a black woman, and this is what George Washington looked like. And it didn't make any sense, right? We're all about diversity. Diversity is fantastic, obviously, but it's rewriting history and it's being weird and dumb, and people hated that because they're centralized models. And ChatGPT's had a lot of criticisms for a long time too, for also bringing in different kinds of censorship. So what do you need to do? Decentralize, democratize. Decentralize the infrastructure networks that are actually training the AI models. Decentralize the AI training. And that's where crypto can actually come in and provide us a freer AI. Because AI, as a more broad concept, in the hands of the tech oligarchs, the tech overlords, is a scary concept. We don't want the dystopian version of AI. We want the utopian version of AI. And I think we only get that by ensuring maximum freedom at all times and decentralizing the process, which crypto has the ability to offer us to do, which is why it's such a big and interesting area. DePIN, AI coming together is very exciting.
Yeah, that could be huge. Lark, you've been on a roll here. We're going to take a quick break and give a shout out to our sponsor of the show, that is Prime XBT. We love Prime XBT, longtime friends of cryptonews.com and longtime sponsors of the Crypto News podcast. Prime XBT offers a robust trading system for both beginners and professional traders. It doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a vet. You can easily design and customize your layouts and widgets to best fit your trading style and take advantage of Prime XBT's highly reliable market data and performance. They are giving a promo code that is Crypto News 50 only for listeners of the Crypto News podcast. That is Crypto News 50, all one word, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. Again, that is Crypto News 50, all one word, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. Lark, let's jump into airdrops. We have literally been a part of airdrop mania for the last 3 months. Not just Sol. I feel like Sol's sort of Solana and Sol have taken the mainstream front page of airdrop nation, but it's happening across all chains, across all ecosystems. For the listeners at home, airdrops, and of course Lark is going to jump in as well here. You participate in an ecosystem. They give you points, whether it is actual just made up points, whether it is dollars staked, whether it is social contributions like making really good content like Lark does, and they will airdrop you coins, free coins. And then you can choose to sell these, you can choose to buy more, hodl them, whatever the case may be. I don't think this is stopping anytime soon. I would love to hear what you have to say on airdrops, but a little follow-up to that, Lark. This does worry me a little, and I feel like this could be similar to the whole Terra type situation where we're just getting too greedy and where we're just, giving people too much for not doing enough. I feel like it just doesn't, yes, I love it when I take advantage of them. Even when I don't and I see my friends and people in my network take advantage, I love that too, but it just seems a little, don't know if I completely love it right now. Do you think the airdrop mania is going to continue? For how long? And I'd love if you could just sort of let the listeners know how they can get involved in airdrops as well.
I think the airdrop mania will continue until people stop making money on it, which could be for quite a while. As long as the bull market is going, people are going to make money on airdrops. And I think that airdrops right now are the exact same kind of impactful money-making meta that we're seeing in 2024 as we saw back in 2020 with DeFi summer. Very similar parallels. Look, airdrops, I think the easiest way to understand it is to think of it like this. you're a software tester. You're testing software. And sometimes you might get paid for that. And there's three main ways, primarily, that we're seeing airdrops being done. The first is via staking. So you might be able to stake something like Celestia or Dimension and get an airdrop for staking. Others have rewarded people for staking too. That's one that's definitely getting to them and getting a lot of hype. So you might be able to do staking. The second is by doing test nets. Now, test nets are really great for the average person out there without any cash, but a little bit of time because they're literally free. This is like really testing software because you're getting to interact with all these applications for free. So you get test net money. It's all fake play money, but you're putting in the work. You're doing the things. You're clicking the buttons. You're testing the applications. You're testing the blockchain, moving money back and forth between wallets, et cetera, et cetera. That gives you an imprint on chain, which might get you an airdrop later. Now, testnet airdrops tend to get pretty heavily overrun with people chasing that free money. So they're not usually
bots too.
A lot of bots. People literally set up bot farms and they have 1,000 addresses and stuff. So look, the teams try their best to make sure that those people don't get rewarded, but it's going to happen, and you're up against a big battle in terms of that. Okay, so that's something to consider when you're looking at a free testnet. But still. Some free testnets have had huge gains. Now, we haven't had any massive, crazy winner this cycle, but here's one from last cycle. Guess what? Solana's testnet. They gave out, I think it was 3,500 SOL tokens or something wild. And I remember that airdrop was worth close to like $1 million or something at the top of the last market cycle. It was absolutely insane for a free testnet. Yeah. So I don't know if we're going to get one like that this cycle because testnets have become so overrun with people since those kind of big airdrops happen. But hey, they're out there. The third way is by the main net where you're still testing the software because things can go wrong, applications can break, blockchains can break. So you're actually testing now with real money. So this is where you want to bring a few ETH over to ZK Sync or Linea or Scroll, for example, layer 2 networks. You want to be moving money back and forth across the bridges. You want to be doing different swaps, creating as much of an on-chain footprint as you can, do it consistently. And then you might maybe get an airdrop or you might get nothing. It's the name of the game. This is the thing with airdrops is that think of it kind of like fishing. You're putting your bait out. You're doing everything you can. You get out there at the right time of day. You get your boat set up. You got your beer and your coffee, whatever. And you're sitting there and you're waiting. Sometimes you pull a big one. Sometimes you don't. And that's what you have to. And sometimes you get nothing at all. You just get a dirty old boot, right? So that's the reality with airdrops is that it's not consistent in many cases. The point systems tend to be a little more consistent. We see that being a popular way that you bring your real money on chain to an application and then you start accruing points. So you can kind of gauge then, okay, I'm number 200 on the leaderboard or something, so I must be doing really well and I'll probably get something at some point. Still though, that something may not be worth as much as you hope it's going to be worth and your money might have been better placed elsewhere. But like I said, as long as people keep making money on airdrops, we're going to keep seeing airdrops.
Yeah, 100%. What do you think about Blast? For the listeners at home, Blast is a new L2 that is being launched by the same team that launched Blur. Blur had one of the biggest airdrops not so much. I guess it was technically an airdrop when you interacted with the Blur ecosystem, which is now actually the biggest NFT marketplace past
OpenSea.
Thank you. Brain fart.
You can't even remember the name anymore because nobody uses it.
It's literally crazy. Yeah, it's been way too long. But they passed OpenSea. The team is all world. All they do is ship, and they ship really good stuff as well. Blast mainnet is supposed to go live. Realistically, by the time this podcast airs, Blast mainnet will go live. And then there's supposedly a pretty sizable airdrop that's coming in May, at least. That's what everyone says. And that's what the team's saying. Do you think Blast is going to be big? Do you think it's going to be Blur-esque? Or do you think sort of will be out of airdrop town by May 2024?
It's really interesting. No, by May 2024, we'll still be in airdrop town without a doubt. And this could actually be one of those massive capital injections to the market that just makes everything pop. Yeah. You have to understand when the airdrops happen, basically it's a giant infusion of liquidity into the market every single time it happens. I did not farm Blast. I didn't like the idea of just sending money off to this multi-sig address with who knows when the mainnet was going to come out. I'm glad they're shipping and I'm happy to see it. And I congratulate the team and of course everybody who got on there early. What's interesting about Blast, they got almost $2 billion, probably is $2 billion with today's price bump.
Yeah, TVL.
So they have $2 billion locked up on the chain right now. They had more people, developer teams, apply to get into their big bang competition than a lot of other blockchains even have applications. This is an insane thing to think about. There's so many people chomping at the bit to get on Blast and to be accepted in their Big Bang program or just be on Blast in general because everyone's so hyped about it. That in itself becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Everybody wants to be there. Everybody wants to be on the hyped new thing. They've delivered on Blur. They're probably going to deliver on Blast. And there's a lot of potential there for that airdrop, especially for the people who got in early. So yeah, I think it's got great potential, and I think we'll see it being a big topic of conversation in a few months' time as that airdrop comes out.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing with crypto. When there's a team who has shipped before, it's like sort of anything else in life. You do it once, you can do it more than once, and we'll have to see, folks. We'll have to see. Lark, one of the things that you are best at is calling market cycles. This is something that I would love to get better at. It's a skill that I feel like you really can't develop without having time in the market. You need to have been, in the weeds for a long period of time to have seen the ups and the downs, when to get in, when to get out. I know we're not getting into any big price predictions or anything like that on the pod, but you have called some market cycles in the past, and we got to know what the next and the current cycle looks like, or is the top going to happen in 2024? I mean, as of right now, everything looks pretty up and only-ish, but you got to give us sort of your secret sauce on calling market cycles and how to sort of better recognize and take part in them as well.
Well, I certainly haven't always got it perfectly. Nobody does. Nobody does. All right. That's something to keep in mind. And there's nobody out there who's going to be your perfect oracle in the markets. Okay, we're all just out here guessing and trying to base our opinions on models that we see and stuff like that. So that's something to keep in mind, guys. Look, there's two theories that are prevalent right now. One, of course, is that we are seeing a relatively standard 4-year cycle play out. There's a few notable differences that we've seen so far, but generally we'll see our 4-year cycle play out. Generally, yeah, the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF stuff, all very exciting, but it's just the new spark of liquidity for this market cycle. Nothing new under the sun. It's the equivalent of MicroStrategy back in 2020. Exciting, but not that fundamentally different in terms of it's just a new spark for the cycle. So in that theory, we see markets topping out late 2025. Because remember, even with the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF stuff, people get super excited about this, but the people buying BlackRock Bitcoin ETFs today, they're not locked in. It's not like a prison sentence. They can sell at any time, literally. Yeah. And so when Bitcoin's up at 150, maybe 200K, where I think we have a potential to top out at, that's the 3.618 fib line, by the way, around $215,000. They're going to start selling. And that'll be the big story of late 2025 in the 4-year cycle theory idea that they're going to start selling. That'll be when markets start going down. It'll be a mania phase. And of course, the general watch indicator for mania phase, Coinbase app top 5, Binance, Crypto.com, and the top 10 downloaded apps of all apps. Old friends you haven't heard from in like 10 years, that cousin you haven't talked to in 20 years, hitting you up.
They hit you up.
And they're asking about dog coins, man. Watch out, okay? They're never asking about the good shit. They're always asking about the dog coins. Other technical indicators you might look at, the Pi cycle top indicator, monthly RSI and Bitcoin hitting 90. These are all things that in the past have indicated the market is overheated. A major cool down could be coming. Weekly MACD flipping on the bearish. Something else to watch out for. It's a relatively late cycle thing. That's when the markets are really about to go down. But that's kind of your last signal. Get out now or suffer the terrible pain of the bear market. So that's the 4-year cycle theory. The other theory we're seeing bantered around a bit and could have legs, but I also worry that it's one of those theories that we see early in the market when people have PTSD and they're kind of in disbelief of, are we really just going to, could it be this easy? Are we really just going to do another 4-year cycle? And that's the accelerated cycle theory. So one thing that's interesting that happened, it hasn't happened before. We crossed over the 0.618 Fibonacci line, which basically it's a 30% drawdown from the previous price highs. So for example, 2017, we hit 20K. Then in 2019, we came back up to 14K during that rally, and then we went back down.
Yeah.
If you go back to the cycle before that, similar thing happened. We haven't crossed over that 0.618 Fibonacci line before, but now we have. Now we haven't hit a new all-time high price hit. If we had that before the Bitcoin halving, I mean, all bets are off because that's really breaking the way cycles have played out previously. But crossing over that 0.618 Fibonacci line before a Bitcoin halving has never happened before. And every time previously we've crossed over the 0.618 Fibonacci line has been about a year approximately left to the market cycle. Is this time different? Maybe, maybe not. It's just one indicator. And there's a couple other things you can look at that are saying, things could be moving faster this time. But faster doesn't mean it necessarily ends faster. It could just move faster and then longer, or it could be faster and shorter. All these theories are just theories until they've actually played out in the real world. And every chart pattern is meant to be broken. So we'll see. Yep. We're in uncharted territories with the Bitcoin ETFs because we're uncertain just how much money will keep flowing in and for how long that money will keep flowing in. And even when BlackRock money starts exiting, there's still be BlackRock money coming in because that's when retail FOMO mania is happening and people are aping in at the top, as they always do.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how the numbers play out in that particular situation. We don't know, but those are the two main theories that I think are being bantered about right now in terms of where the price could go and how soon we could get there. But in both situations, we're looking at probably 150 to 200K potentially at the top. That's my general thesis on how high Bitcoin can go this cycle.
Are we going to see some God candles this cycle? I remember last cycle, 2021, I think I was actually in Dubai and we went from, I think it was like 60 to 66 in literally a day. I went to sleep, woke up like 6 hours later and we through 5K on the chart. I was like, whoa. Like I remember a couple days and again, we had some vicious downside, some vicious down God. Maybe you'd call that devil candles, not sure, but we had a couple of vicious devil candles as well. We haven't really seen any of those in this current cycle. There's been a lot of steady 1K days, 2K days drops as well, but there's got to be some God candles coming in, right?
There probably will be. There probably will be. And that's around retail mania. See, right now, the TradFi money, they're just grinding. They're grinding. They're just chewing away at it. 100 million here, 200 million there, grind. What's interesting right now, and if you're listening to this conversation, I have some good news for you. You're early because once we cross over into new highs, when we start hitting price discovery, we're talking $70,000 and 1 cent. When we hit that, then we're in price discovery. When price discovery happens again, we come back to how much longer can it last in the cycle and how long has it lasted in previous cycles. And generally from the time we hit price discovery, there's around 12 months or so before the market tops out. It could be shorter than that. And you have to be able to flip the switch in your brain when that happens because a lot of people will just keep buying. Realistically, once we hit price discovery, your risk reward goes down dramatically. Now, look, that's not to say there's not going to be hot new altcoins to get into or low cap altcoins that still have a lot of potential or new airdrops to farm. But you have to understand the higher the price goes, the more risk you're taking when you click the buy button. So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, well said. Lark, you've been on fire here. A couple more questions, then we'll wrap up. Any other areas of crypto at the moment that are tickling your fancy? We discussed airdrops, DePIN, Bitcoin, ETH, of course, a little bit of altcoins as well, but any other areas or altcoins in particular that are really tickling your fancy at the moment?
I like gaming. I think gaming's a very interesting and accessible area for the average investor when they come into the space. See, a lot of the crypto stuff, somebody gave me a deck the other day and I looked at it and I was like, man, these people are just unbelievable nerds. What's wrong with these guys? Like, who the heck understands? What is this crap? What is this crap? This is like high-level nerd stuff. Like, I'm sure it's really important, but nobody understands it. And you're going to have a hard time conveying that message to anybody who wants to use this in the future. So, look, the reason meme coins are so popular is because they're so accessible as a concept to understand. You have to keep in mind the wild learning curve that crypto is. And I've often said about Chainlink, great technology, really cool what they're doing. If they just change their damn logo to a dog link, boom, be a lot more popular.
Yeah,
ironically,
it's too infrastructure based.
Yeah,
the narrative narrative really matters in crypto. It's so true.
It really does. And look, Chainlink's got enough clever people understand. Chainlink has been around long enough for people to understand it, but that's just an example, right? And so when I look at crypto gaming, again, it's very accessible, and the token models ideally are going to be good token models to make a lot of sense, but they don't necessarily have to be when the mania comes back because people are going to come in and go, I like that game. I'm going to buy the tokens. And of course, if a game actually takes off, and I think that we have a real potential for that this cycle, we've seen some incredible games coming out. Things are starting to get listed on the big game sites. The first game on Xbox as well coming, crypto game on Xbox. So that one's off the grid. I'm a private sale investor in that one, by the way. But they're the first game listed on Xbox. And that's wildly exciting. Imagine this. Imagine if a crypto game this cycle gets 10 million players. What happens in that situation? It's wild. Again, very accessible stuff, I think, for the average person here coming in and looking and saying, I like this game. I play this game. I'm going to buy the tokens because I play it. So crypto gaming is a very big area of investment for me. I like it. I think games are cool. And look, a lot of games are going to fail. There's way more games coming out right now than there are players for those games in crypto, realistically. A lot of them are going to be great ideas and are not going to make it, but that's crypto in general. You should expect 9 out of 10 altcoins are not going to make it long term. CoinGecko released a report that about 60% of altcoins that they list are dead. Dead. No volume, no buyers, no sellers, dead. Team's gone out.
I thought it'd be higher than that.
Well, those are like the ones that are like dead. Then there's probably about 30% more that are just zombies. And I say zombies in the sense of like, technically there's a developer there still keeping the lights on, but they haven't done anything. Nothing's going on. Trading volumes are near dead, but for some reason, some exchanges somewhere still list them. They still have a market maker producing a few $1,000s a day in volume, but like essentially zombie dead coins. So 9 out of 10 of these cryptos are not going to make it long term. The vast majority of the cryptos will go down 90+% in the next bear market. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's wild. Lark, what an episode, man. Appreciate you coming on. Love the alpha here. Before we let you go, can you please let our listeners know where they can find you personally and Wealth Mastery online and on socials?
Absolutely. So check out our newsletter, 100,000 plus readers a week, getting alpha straight to their inboxes. You can go to thewealthmastery.io to check that out. Follow me on X at @thecryptolark, or just search Lark Davis for the verified accounts. And make sure you get verified accounts on YouTube or on X or Instagram. And of course, one final parting thought for everybody. Take your profits or the market will take them for you. This is a player versus player market. Be on the right side of the equation.
Well said. Folks, what an episode with Lark Davis, founder of Wealth Mastery. And of course, go follow him on Twitter @thecryptolark, dropping knowledge and alpha left, right, and center. Huge shout out to Lark and the team for making this happen. If you guys enjoyed this one, please do subscribe. It would mean the world to my team and I. Speaking of the team, love you guys. Thank you for everything. Eustace, you are the band. And back to the listeners, love you guys. Keep on growing those bags and keep on staying healthy, wealthy, and happy. Bye for now, and we'll talk soon.